Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're talking about something that has just dropped. And honestly, I've been looking forward to it for quite a while. Duet Night Abyss 1.0 is finally here. Yeah, the wait is over, the servers are up, and people everywhere are finally getting their hands on it. I've been spending a ton of time exploring everything that's new, testing out the features, checking the events, and honestly, this update is stacked. There's so much to go through, and if you're just getting started or maybe still thinking about downloading it, this is going to help you get the full picture. I'll walk you through what's going on in the 1.0 launch, the events, what's free, what's worth your time, and how you can get the best start possible without wasting any resources. First off, let's talk about the biggest thing that's setting Duet Night Abyss apart right now. The devs have actually gone through with their promise. There's no gacha for characters or weapons. None. Everything can be earned just by playing. You can literally grind for every single character and weapon in the game. There's also no stamina system locking you out after a few runs. It's such a refreshing approach, and it already feels like a breath of fresh air compared to how most action RPGs handle this stuff. Instead of waiting for energy refills or pulling your hair out, hoping for a lucky drop from a banner, you can actually focus on playing the game, mastering the combat, and just enjoying the experience. At launch, there are 19 characters available and 45 weapons to pair with them. That's a pretty strong starting roster, and the developers have already confirmed that they'll be adding one new character and one new weapon roughly every 28 days. So we're getting a nice steady stream of content without it being overwhelming. It's not one of those games that dumps 50 updates in the first month and burns you out. It's consistent and manageable, which is awesome if you like to explore everything in detail. Now let's get into the fun part, the launch events. These are basically your best source of rewards early on, and honestly, they're way too good to skip. The first one running right now is called Gift of the Zephyr. It started on October 28th and will last until December 22nd. This one's super simple. Just log in, get Rebecca completely free, plus 10 prismatic hourglasses right in your in-game mail. So if you haven't logged in yet, make sure to do that. Rebecca's a great starter unit and can carry you for a while. The next event is Ode to Bloom, which also kicked off with the launch and runs until November 25th. Once you progress a bit through the story, you'll get another 10 prismatic hourglasses, which are super handy for unlocking new stuff later on. Basically, these hourglasses are your high-value currency for certain unlocks. So the more you can collect from these early events, the better off you'll be. Then we've got Message of the Nightingale, another early event that gives you 10 more hourglasses once you move a bit further in the story. It's designed to reward you as you play naturally, so there's no grindy or confusing steps. Just play, unlock story stages, and collect your rewards. But my personal favorite from the early batch is Immersive Theater. This one runs until November 25th, and it's a full-on gameplay event where you can earn Psyche and the Elpides Abound weapon completely free. You don't even need to spend anything. The event stages are fun and have a nice balance of challenge and reward. If you're someone who loves collecting characters and weapons without opening your wallet, this is the one to focus on early. There are also 2 more events that will drop later in this version. A rainbow-colored dream will arrive on November 25th and run until December 22nd, giving you more resources and secret letter clues, which are used to unlock more character progression options. Then, we've got Stranger from Afar, starting December 8th and running until December 23rd, which drops Twilight Treads and more clues. Basically, the game is stacked with free loot for the entire first couple of months. You'll never be short on something to do. Now, beyond the events, there are also a bunch of permanent rewards that you should definitely claim as soon as you can. The developers have been super generous with the pre-registration bonuses and social campaign milestones. If you were part of the pre-registration period, you should have some serious goodies waiting for you. From the 15 million pre-registration milestone, you'll get Berenica for free, along with cosmetics and other upgrade resources. And if you followed the social campaigns, you should have another 5 pristine hourglasses in your inbox too. There's also a login event called Hymn of Abundance, which rewards 10 more pristine hourglasses just for logging in over a few days. There's also something called the Bon Voyage reward chain, which unlocks early on in the story. Once you get through those chapters, you'll receive the Arclight Apocalypse's weapon and another 20 pristine hourglasses. That's a really solid way to gear up fast. And it doesn't stop there. There are smaller story-based freebies too. For example, in the Tummy Full, Hands Full event, you'll get Truffle and Filbert as free characters along with a secret letter. Then, when you make it to the Mystic Maze content in the Restless Hum section, you can unlock Lisbell for free too. As you keep pushing through the main storyline, you'll also get the Outsider and Daphne as permanent unlocks through the chapters Voyage into the Long Night and Step into the Rainveil. So yeah, you're literally building a full team of characters without having to pull for any of them. Now let's talk about how to actually get the best start. A lot of people make the mistake of spreading their resources too thin in these kinds of games. Duet Night Abyss is structured so that early on, you want to focus on one main carry. Pick the character that feels most natural for you, someone whose weapon style fits your playstyle, and level them up to around level 40 first. This makes the early and mid game a lot smoother. Then, once you've built a reliable core, start branching out to level and upgrade others. Since there's no stamina system, you can play at your own pace and grind whenever you want. That's a huge advantage, especially if you want to farm for materials or experiment with builds. Secret letters, which you'll need for unlocking more character options, can be farmed from covert operations and other activities that open up later on. The best part? You don't have to worry about waiting for energy to recharge or being forced to stop after a few runs. It's all about how much time you want to invest. Another big thing to remember is that the main story isn't just narrative. It's your gateway to unlocking pretty much every feature in the game. As you progress, you'll gradually open up events, the crafting systems, and access to more characters and weapons. So even if you're tempted to jump into side content immediately, do yourself a favor and focus on pushing the story chapters first. It's worth it, trust me. The early story itself is pretty interesting too. The writing has a darker tone compared to most other action RPGs, and the world feels alive and mysterious. The environments are stunning, and the combat feels fast and stylish. There's this nice balance between ranged and melee attacks, and switching between weapons mid-combo feels buttery smooth. You can tell the devs spent a lot of time making sure the combat feels satisfying, not just flashy. Now, something that's been pretty cool to see is how the community's reacting to all this. People are honestly surprised that a game this high quality is launching without microtransactions being shoved in your face. The developers are clearly trying to build long-term trust with players instead of going for quick cash grabs. And that's exactly the kind of approach that could make Duet Night Abyss last for years if they keep it up. For those who are just hopping in and maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed with all the new systems, don't worry, it gets easier as you go. The tutorial and onboarding are well-paced, and by the time you unlock the main hub area, you'll have a pretty good handle on how everything fits together. Plus, most of the big rewards are time-limited, but not overly strict. You don't have to grind non-stop every day. Just logging in regularly and playing naturally will get you almost everything from this version. If you want to plan ahead a little, I'd recommend checking your in-game event page every time you log in. That way, you won't miss the end dates on things like Immersive Theater or friendly games. You've got until November 25th for those, so there's plenty of time, but it's always better to stay on top of it. The later events like A Rainbow-Colored Dream and Stranger from Afar will carry you into December, keeping the momentum going even after the initial hype settles down. Another small tip. Keep an eye on the secret letter clues you collect. They might not seem super valuable right away, but once you unlock more advanced character customization, they'll become really important for upgrading specific traits and unlocking hidden storylines. So even if you're not sure how to use them yet, don't toss them aside. At this point, I'd say Duet Night Abyss is off to one of the strongest launches I've seen for an action RPG in a long time. It feels complete, polished, and generous, which is not something we can always say about free-to-play titles. The fact that everything is earnable through gameplay and that you're not punished with energy caps just makes it that much more enjoyable.